What's going on, YouTube family? We back with the weekly review. And in this particular video, we're going to start off with the legendary comedian Corey Holcomb and his 5150 crew. And in this particular clip, Corey is breaking down the trouble that the American family is in. And he's really referencing the T.I. situation with his son, King, and how T.I. had to reprimand King because King was being disrespectful. Now, Corey's viewpoint on it is that kids are a reflection of what they see, and we do understand that. And he says that basically they're just acting out what they get from home and what they get from social media. And that is true. But there was a time when there still was a level of respect that was understood and that was expected from children. And it seems as though in today's climate, the levels of respect are at an all-time high. Excuse me, the levels of disrespect are at an all-time high, and the level of respect have been somewhat forgotten. And I really agree with that. I thought last year when T.I. was having problems with his son, I didn't think that he was, handling it the way that my parents handled it back in the day. They definitely made sure that it became physical if I became disrespectful. Now, I'm not saying they abused me. There was a level of respect that I had to have, and I understood that if I didn't exude that level of respect, things could get physical. And that's how it was. So we were under a certain level of scrutiny where we understood how we had to behave or there were consequences. I don't know if the consequences last year when King was acting out were strong enough. Obviously not, because his behavior seems to have gotten worse. And this is something that T.I. obviously felt as well. And it got to the point where it became a little physical. It wasn't anything outrageous. It wasn't anything I haven't seen before in terms of disciplining your child, but it just happened to be on social media. So let's listen to what Corey has to say about it, and I'll tap back in on it on the other end.
It's something to be said about that, man. Listen, man, these kids do what they see. These kids do what they see. Every once in a while, you get a real little prophecy baby who was born crazy. But most of the time, these kids are living out what they see that is happening in their house, especially in the house, and on the internet and in the streets. And I think it's in that order. These kids are living out what they see in the house, the internet, and in the streets, in that order. And I'm saying, like, a lot of these people don't have the courage to admit, like, yo, this is how I'm treated at home. That's why the kids treat me like this. And I'm just saying, when you truly grow up, you will not have people around you that treat you disrespectfully. I'm bold enough to say this. My daughter called me out the blue. And I was like, yo, what is this about? And I think she's trying to move to California. So I'm like, oh, that's nice. But what about that shit last time I saw you? I mean, I'm not going to act like it didn't happen. Disrespect. You don't disrespect your father. I'm telling all you young people of the world, don't disrespect your father because you think it's trendy to do so. Don't disrespect your father. This world will have you hating your father, but trust me, you are here because your father had the wherewithal to get your mama to bust down. Trust me. That's why you here. Or your father has money, so your mama bust down. Either way, your father started your life with a conversation way before you got here. So if you don't believe that, every once in a while a woman will initiate things with a man that's just on love. Most of the time when a woman initiates conversation with you, this is my opinion, it's because she wants some money.
Oh, damn.
When girls walk
That's
up to me and
terrible.
speak, I'll be like,
Oh well, yes. In your position, yes, I get that. I get that.
That's
I
it's
get that.
funny.
I mean, Corey has a very, very valid point in terms of you shouldn't disrespect your parents. It's unacceptable. Obviously, T.I. and Tiny have put this young brother in a position where he lives in an upscale community. He's claiming he's from the hood. I do not understand. I'm from the ghetto. One of my biggest accomplishments was getting away from the ghetto and being able to overcome what I was born into. I don't understand this thing about where they feel as though they're getting street cred from being from the ghetto. We got street cred from getting out of the ghetto, for finding a way to get out, be it through school, be it through certain other circumstances that we were forced into. And once we were able to get out, that was a major accomplishment for us. But for some reason, our youth are plagued by this thought that being ghetto or being having street credibility gives them some type of currency. It's ridiculous. If you think about it, other cultures do not monetize their trauma. Actually, they don't even talk about it or don't even want to see it. If you look at the news, I remember one of the last classes that I took in undergrad was crime in the media. And one of the main themes about the class was the way that they portray certain cultures in movies, through the news, through print media. And that it was a crime because if you only portray certain cultures as being criminal, statistically, it has been proven that other cultures have criminal aspects in them as well as Black and brown culture, period. But the way that they framed it in this particular class is, say, if you look at a certain movie, you know, the white dude is always the hero, and he's always saving a woman from a Black or brown criminal. That's the way that they portray certain cultures in the media. And it seems to be that through music, not seems, it's obvious that through music, through social media, these same themes and concepts have been perpetuated over time. What happened to marketing a positive image of Black and brown people? Why do you think that when you look at other genres in music, that they don't market decadent behavior to the country genre, to the rock and roll genre? It's not decadent like that, not to the same level as some of our new artists. But think about that. You couldn't find any other artists that represented themselves in the culture better than that. And that's not a crime? Answer that question in the comments. To me personally, I believe it is a crime. Because if you want to transcend our culture for it to be positive and for it to be uplifting like hip hop was in the beginning, then why don't you do that? You make a decision on what you want to market. It's major marketing dollars put behind these artists. Who's making that decision to market this decadent lifestyle? And I think that that ties in to what Corey's talking about in terms of what happened with T.I. and his young son King. And I think that that ties in to a lot of things that have happened within this past week in terms of social media. It's more than obvious that through social media, they are basically monetizing our trauma. Monetizing our trauma, meaning they are making money for their families off of our trauma and decadent lifestyle or culture. And we are seeing the repercussions from it in circumstances like this T.I. situation with his young son.
Now, I'm saying, like, you can't disrespect your father because America basically tells you your father's no good. You can't do that. Look, how about this? Even if your father
agree.
is no good,
Let's just say, right. If
you're
that's,
not supposed to disrespect your father. When you get old enough, you might not be around your father because if he's a bad guy, he's a bad guy. If he's a scumbag, he's a scumbag.
I agree.
But what I'm saying is, you're not supposed to walk up to your father and try him. And I'm talking to everybody who does it, including mine, which she tried to avoid the real conversation. You don't disrespect me and expect me to have you up under me.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter if I love you or not. I'm not about to have a disrespectful person at my age, a disrespectful person,
no matter what the relationship is,
up under me like that. And the people that are disrespectful, that find their way into my presence, if they really just watch, they'll be like, Corey trying to get the hell away from me.
And that's real talk. I mean, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're being disrespected or where you are disrespecting other people. And I think Corey has a very valid point in terms of you don't disrespect your parents. You know, things can happen in life. Once you become an adult, certain things happen. And sometimes you have to protect yourself from your parents. If you feel as though they're being disrespectful or don't have your best interest in heart and are proving that to you, you would be a fool not to protect yourself from that person, from anyone that's like that. But you don't have to disrespect them in that particular action. You just get away from them and you stay away from them until they're healed enough to be able to treat you with respect. See, sometimes people and sometimes parents feel as though they can treat you any way that they want to treat you and that you're going to respect them, especially if you were raised that way. If you come from a family of respect where your grandparents, really instill respect in you, and then some people benefit from that. Sometimes your parents benefit from the level of respect that you gained from being around your grandparents. And then they expect for you to treat them like that forever. But if they don't give you that same respect in return, especially in adulthood, it's best to separate yourself from that. But this particular situation with T.I. is not like that. They've created a very good life for this young man. He doesn't have to be in the street. He doesn't have to act as if he's ghetto and got street cred. That's something that he feels as though he's gaining some type of street credibility or respect for behaving that way. You don't even need any of that. You already got everything you need within that gated community. It's within you to understand how to take advantage of your circumstances and create a great life for you. Because a lot of people aren't set up the way that you set up, young brother. They don't have parents with means. They don't have gated communities. They don't have parents who can make decisions and put you in a certain situation where you can flourish because they have the monetary means to do so. Most people aren't in that situation. So it looks kind of silly for you to negate the reality of your life and want to stand on business in some falsehood. Bro, listen, don't nobody want to hear that or see that. Actually, you are embarrassing yourself and your family. And this is something that you really, really, really need to take heed to and have an understanding of. And I really wish T.I. and his family the best. And I hope that this young brother, he's young. And one thing that I really, really, really like, and T.I. has responded, I believe today in social media, is saying, we together for life. Don't get caught up in what social media is talking about. I understand that you're from an era where social media is so important and oh my God. But Brother T.I. said, don't get caught up in that because we in this for life. We're going to be able to work past this and continue to be great and build generational wealth. We're not going to implode just because we want to be fake tough and fake street credibility. It just doesn't make any sense. And I completely agree with Corey. Respect your parents. Find a way to communicate with your parents without being disrespectful. If you have an issue at that age, couldn't imagine what that issue could be in terms of not being able to communicate to your parents. But it's all about communication. That's the real gangster. Being able to communicate articulately, clearly, and have a concise way of speaking when you have an issue. And basically, that's what Brother Corey Holcomb is talking about. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And like we always say, let's change the narrative and refocus the optics. Catch you on the next one.